Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Victory Loves Company podcast. I'm Conrad Agderian, and today we're going to talk about some tips for buying into a 55-plus community. Today I am joined with Jane Cacavelli, who is a mother and a wife who had recently moved into a 55-plus community in central New Jersey. Today she is going to help us shed some light on the process in searching for an active adult community. She'll spell out some of the pros and cons based off of her recent experience in this field. Jane, thank you for coming on.
Hi, thank you.
So you had recently moved into a 55-plus community, is that correct?
That is correct, yes.
So aside from the obvious age requirement, what made you move into a community in the first place?
Well, I knew I didn't want to be in the same northern Jersey. That's where I was originally from. I wanted to move away, preferably down the shore. So we started researching different areas, different towns. And I will tell you, it took us approximately 2 years by coming from northern Jersey down the Parkway pretty much every other weekend and just researching different communities.
And when you were looking at these different communities with your husband, what are some of the first things that you looked for, or some advice that you can give someone who's looking to buy into a 55-plus community for the first time? What are the first things that you should really look at?
Well, my first thought was the obvious. I wanted to live close enough, like preferably an hour and a half drive, which is what it is, where we live now, from northern Jersey down the Parkway. So I wanted to keep it in that time frame. I looked at the time frame. That would be easy for my husband and I to drive up, or my daughter and her husband to drive down. That was the number one thing.
So location was your priority in relation to where your family was located, correct?
That is correct.
Okay.
Yes. And I still have family in northern Jersey. So it was, the time frame was paid a big part. Mm-hmm.
So for people that still have relatives that live on their own or live with other relatives, you want to find a community that's within a reasonable amount of driving distance, in your opinion. Is that correct?
That is correct, yes.
Okay. When looking at these communities, Jane, are there any times of the year that you found to be more optimal when looking at these communities?
Well,
for example, is there an advantage at looking at one in the summer as opposed to over the winter when people aren't necessarily house hunting?
Okay, I will tell you this. When my husband and I were going to the different communities, we were going in the springtime. I felt that was the best. And also fall, I will say. Because our community happens to be on a golf course, which I'm not a golfer and neither is my husband, but you got to see the foliage and a lot of the activities going on. So you really got to see a lot when you went down that time.
Why did you single out spring and fall as opposed to summertime?
Well, I feel spring is like renewal, and that's when a lot of people are selling their homes and there's a lot of buying. You see the realtors having the real estate is up for sale. Mm-hmm. So we didn't buy a new home, I will tell you that. We bought a resale.
Okay.
So that was what we could afford, and we went with what we could afford. We knew we were going to sell our home eventually up north and buy a home down in one of the communities.
So you purchased a home, excuse me, based off of obviously your financial situation. Now, in these communities, are there different types of homes, different setups, layouts, and whatnot, or is there just like a one-size-fits-all for people that are on a fixed budget?
Well, I can only speak pretty much for our community, which we saw. There one master bedroom and a spare bedroom.
Now, this is your home you're referring to?
Well, my particular home, yes. It's a master bedroom, high ceilings, and a small second bedroom, I'm sorry, which was enough for us. There's also an attic and for storage, a living room and a dining room, and that's all we need. Very simple.
And what were some of the other housing types aside from yours that were available for people that maybe had a larger budget or even a larger family or even pets?
Well, from what I saw, and not only in our community, there were ones with lofts. I know those are big. But again, I took into consideration years down the road, am I going to be able to climb up those stairs all the time, or to be in a loft? I don't know if I wanted that. I like the one floor living. That's what I wanted.
Are all the homes in your community one floor, or are there ones that are 2 stories tall?
Most of them are one floor living.
And I'm assuming that's obviously to avoid climbing any steps as people get older in age?
That is correct, and I took that into account because I myself have MS, multiple sclerosis, and if God forbid I had the unfortunate being in a wheelchair, I took that into account if I have to get a wheelchair in and out, or even for my husband.
That's a good point.
It is.
Mm-hmm.
People don't think of those things, and I see it now after 5 years of living in an adult community.
All right, well, that's helpful to know.
Mm-hmm.
I know a lot of people kind of look at the curb appeal of these communities, the amenities, the pool, obviously the house itself, the interior and whatnot, but a lot of times what I feel people overlook is the actual management of the community. How important, in your opinion, since you've been living there, how important is management when deciding to move into a community? And was that a factor for you when selecting the one that you had? Management.
Honestly, at the time, I really wasn't thinking of that. I didn't realize how much management would play a part. I knew I wanted a home. I knew what I wanted, my husband and I. So I really didn't take that into consideration.
All right, so management wasn't a top priority for you.
Mm-mm.
What would you say was a top priority for you?
Well, the community we live in has security with the gate. They call it there's fencing all around it, and it's guarded community. And
a gated community?
Gated community, Thank you. But honestly, I think that's a false deterrent for people. If a person wants to get in, they can get in. Also, people that bring grandchildren or family members, okay, like my next door neighbor, let's say, and they have family that gets out, and they look, I don't know who my next door neighbor brings in or brings out. So anybody can do crimes in a community.
That's true.
Yeah, so I think it's just a false sense of security.
Okay, good. Are there any what are called HOA fees, or homeowners association fees, that are associated with your community?
Yes.
And if so, what do those fees include? I know you had mentioned just earlier security at the front gate.
Yes, there are. And that's another thing I was looking at, because most of these communities do have them. So you have to weigh how much they are, what do they include. For our community, like I said, we have a gated community, and the guards do check the community, and they also have snow removal in the wintertime. They take care of the roads, which is sanding and plowing, and your driveway if you choose.
Do they shovel your driveway for you?
Yes, they do, and your walkway,
Nice.
which is a big help, because there's a lot of people with back issues, and at this age, to be honest, you don't want to go out and shovel and sand and everything. So they do that all for you. That's all included, and the cutting of the grass.
Okay. So all the cosmetic stuff, like maybe planting a garden or tending to a garden, that would solely be up to the homeowner, not the community, correct?
That is correct, yes.
But the actual maintenance, as you had mentioned, the shoveling and removal of snow, leaves, anything like that, the community is responsible for, and that is all figured into your HOA fee. Is that correct?
That is correct, yes.
Yeah. Well, nobody enjoys shoveling snow. At least I can tell you that from my perspective as a homeowner. So, Moving ahead here, when you moved into your community, or even prior to moving into your community, once you actually nail down, okay, this is where I'm going to live, this is the community that's a great fit for my husband and I, did you talk to any of your neighbors or any of the people in the community prior, aside from anyone that has shown you the home or any management?
Well, as a matter of fact, I did.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't just our realtor. What we did was we went into the clubhouse. Our clubhouse happens to have a deli, and that was a big sale for us because you could go in the morning, have a cup of coffee, chit-chat with people. Well, that's exactly what happened, and we got to talk to a lot of the people in the community coming up and saying, oh, it's wonderful here. Oh, I'm from the same area you were from. Oh, and all positive feedback. And that helped in us making our decision.
What are some of your favorite activities that the community offers that you would otherwise have to pay for living in your old home or municipality?
Honestly,
Yeah.
I feel like it's a cruise, as silly as it sounds, a cruise on land, because
Nice.
from the way when you wake up till the time you go to sleep, there's something to do. There's so many clubs to join. I belong to Performing Arts Club, which is singing, dancing, acting. We do 4 shows a year. There is Italian American Club, Irish Club, there's Essex Bergen Club, there is a golf club, there is a Shields Club for police officers. There we have an indoor and an outdoor pool, which is a great thing. But a lot of these clubs, I will tell you, they charge you $10 to join for the whole year, which is great.
Mm-hmm. Sounds like there's a club for everybody.
Yes, there's bocce, there's ping pong, there's shuffleboard, and they're all clubs.
What are some popular outdoor clubs that your community offers?
Like I said, there's bocce, bocce, shuffleboard. There's I believe there's a walking club. We have a healthy living club, which is a great, we have an indoor exercise club. Outdoor, there's pickleball. Pickleball is very, very big. And my husband plays that.
What is pickleball for those who are unfamiliar with it?
Okay, it's the up and coming thing. So I hear it's a very small court played with a paddle. And it's almost like tennis, but it's very fast moving. And if you Google it, you could find out what it's about. But it's very, very popular.
Pickleball.
It's a lot of fun. Pickleball.
Pickleball. Okay. I'll
Pickleball,
definitely take a look out for that.
Yeah.
All right, and finally, are there any advice that you can give first-time couples that are looking to move into these communities that might be a little confused or even intimidated by the process or the overwhelming array of options available to them? What would you be able to tell them based off of your experience?
Well,
Jane?
my experience, honestly, when we were looking, we stayed within our means. I didn't think my family would be coming down to visit as much as I anticipated.
Well, sometimes that's a good thing. Sometimes it's a bad thing, right?
I understand that, but what I hear a lot of people saying is, "Oh my gosh, since I moved in this community, my kids don't even hear from me anymore, and they get angry at me," which is really funny. But a big mistake people make is they get such a large home thinking that, oh, my family's going to be coming down, the grandkids are going to be coming down, and then they wind up with this huge home, big heating bill, and they want to move into, guess what? A smaller home in the community. So I see a lot of that happening.
All right, fair enough. So you want to live and spend within your means and don't always plan to have company over every single day or every single weekend. You want to make you and your husband or your spouse the main priority when looking for a home, and the guest room and everything else should be secondary, correct?
That is correct. That's my feel.
Okay, so we talked mostly about the pros and the convenience of living in these communities. Are there any cons or drawbacks from moving into these, or is there anything that you miss from living in your old house in northern New Jersey?
Okay, it was difficult, I will tell you, in the beginning because I had to leave my friends here in up northern Jersey, but I make time for them when I do come up and visit. I also miss the really good restaurants that there are here, being that we're just a stone throw away from New York City. I miss my hair salons and, the women things, nail salons. Also, a changing of doctors. I did change my doctors. Instead of driving an hour and a half all the time, I just changed doctors. There's plenty to choose from. My family was concerned when I did move down there.
Because of your MS?
That is correct. Mm-hmm. So they were concerned I'm a sick person, but there are doctors. There's doctors everywhere, and whatever you need, you find things. And you ask. People are very helpful in the community. They give advice. I made lots of new friends also, my husband and I, and that's it, basically. Oh, I will say the one-level living, mm-hmm. I didn't realize this till I took an exercise class. Because we have the one level living, and this might be something people need to understand.
What's that?
You really need to exercise and keep your body strong, because when you come home or you go somewhere, it's difficult even for me now to climb upstairs because you're not using your quads and your legs, your muscles. Mm-hmm. So you need to exercise, walk. Go upstairs, come down steps somewhere.
Well, these communities make it easy to do that, no?
They do.
To stay active?
Yes, they do. They offer, we have an indoor exercise room, which is great. So take advantage of that. And there's the weights. And there's the indoor, like I said, the indoor swimming pool, the outdoor swimming pool. There's really no reason not to stay fit and healthy.
Regardless of age.
Regardless of age. Don't use that as an excuse, because I hear that a lot. Oh, I'm too old, or I can't do that anymore. I will say there's a lot of card playing. The people play cards.
Of course.
Yeah, and I get that. That's fun. But, you have to have you have to compromise sometimes. You've got to walk and the body has to be moving and keep the muscles strong. I also learned Mahjong, which is, I don't know if you're familiar with
What
that.
is Mahjong? I don't play it.
Well, it's an old game. It's with tiles and you play, and it's a lot of fun. Really keeps the mind going, and that's important.
What do you do to keep your mind and body active, Jane?
I belong to PAC.
What's PAC?
PAC is the Performing Arts Club. We sing, we act, and I just co-directed a show. The name of it is Beautiful versus Motown. A lot of fun.
And what's it about?
Carole King.
Was a classic?
Yeah, I don't know anyone that doesn't like Carole King. And Motown. Everyone knows Motown. Mm-hmm. So that was a lot of fun to do. There was dancing, there was singing, and there was acting in it, all three.
Is this your first show?
It is my first show that I directed, but I've been since I've been here, I do about 3 shows a year.
You enjoy doing it, I'm assuming?
I love doing it.
Good.
I would never have done anything like this if I still lived up in northern Jersey. So it allows me to really venture out and do everything I love.
It seems like that's your passion. Do you and your husband have similar passions or different interests within the community?
Within the community, we have different interests. His love is the wood shop. Of course, men hang out in there. I don't know if there's any women that belong to it. However, they don't say no to women that want to join.
There wasn't any women in my woodshop class in high school, so sure. we need a little more of that.
Oh, absolutely. I'm all for it. He never made anything at home in the garage, but here he's able to go to the wood shop every morning and meet with the guys and the coffee clutch thing and have fun. He also plays water volleyball in the indoor pool, which is great exercise, and he also utilizes the gym. So that's what he mainly does. Mm-hmm.
Okay, good. Is there anything else that you'd like to add? Anything else that would be pertinent?
I don't believe so. I think we pretty much covered everything.
All right. Well, I want to thank you for coming on the show and providing insight. Hopefully people will be able to take this information and apply it to, their journey when searching for a 55 plus community. Jane, it was terrific having you on. I want to thank you very much.
No, thank you.
All right, everyone, that's the podcast. I'd like to thank everyone for listening to Victory Loves Company. I am Conrad Agdirian. Please check us out on Facebook and Twitter at VLC Podcast, or you can always email us at thevictorypodcast@gmail.com. Thank you very much.